there's been an unending conflict for the past 150 years, and it's still going on right now. So growing up, it would often like not resolve, but just go quiet for a while.
For a
Then
while.
there's a little bit of peace, and then after a short while, it starts again.
Wow.
And because when I came back, I spoke really differently. Like my accent,
Your
my American accent was heavy.
Yeah.
And I guess people just didn't like me because of that.
Wow.
Yeah.
Okay, hi guys, welcome back to another amazing episode of Nke. As always, we have brilliant young women doing amazing things in their field, and we are joined by a brilliant young woman doing amazing things in her field. And she's going to introduce herself shortly. Hi.
Hi. All right. My name is Zulfawu. I am Ghanaian, and usually I introduce myself as I belong to Northern Ghana. I am a student here at AOU in my third year studying international business and trade, and yeah, I'm a corporate babe, and I also have a large interest in diplomacy and sustainable fashion as well. And I mostly work on product management, but also on communications. I'm a writer when it comes to my corporate life. And diplomacy, I like to engage with people and basically interact and have conversations or moderate conversations with people. And when it comes to sustainable fashion, I love to promote the use of pre-loved items or resale of pre-loved items. And yeah, I do some work around that as well.
Amazing, amazing. Just a little aside, I love your eyelashes.
Thank
they are
you.
so like, it's not false lash, right?
No, my mama gave them to me.
So long and so fine. Oh my god. Okay. Tell us about your childhood. How was it growing up in Ghana? You know, your family, your early childhood, school, education, that kind of thing.
Yeah, like I said, I come from Northern Ghana. It's a very conservative society, especially where I come from. It's like the most northern part of Northern Ghana. And I grew up in a very not so small conservative community. It's very Muslim, largely Muslim populated, but we also have all other religions.
Yeah.
It has really influenced and shaped the person that I have become today and most of my interests today. I kind of went to a strictly Christian school. Yeah.
Interesting. How
Yeah.
was that as a Muslim?
Very hard because I would be forced to go to church.
Yeah,
I would
to
be forced
pray
to
and all of
exactly.
that, yeah.
Very hard, but I just made it like a hobby. So I like the Bible was a subject that we had to learn in school and
Yeah,
write an exam.
yeah.
So it was one of the things that I actually liked, but just as a hobby and not something that I had to do
Yeah,
to believe in the
makes
faith.
sense.
So that was very interesting. And whenever I tell people that I grew up in a Muslim community but went to a strictly Christian school, it's like, how is that even possible? But yeah, because of how conservative it was, and it shaped the cultures around the community and having, let's say, conservative ideas like the roles of women and men, they were strictly defined roles.
Yeah.
And basically, the rights that people even had there were different. They were like double standards when it came to all of these genders. And it has influenced my interest in diplomacy, and that is more specific to policy and advocating for girl child education and also just women empowerment in general.
Amazing, amazing.
Yeah.
What was your favorite place to go to growing up?
You know, girls don't really get to go out like that.
Yes.
So I never actually thought where I went mostly or as a favorite place. It was mostly from the house to school and back to the house. But I grew up in the market. So my house is like part of the market. So it was, even though if I was in the house, I still got to have my surrounding being loud and like the market.
Makes sense.
And but I did have a place that I like to go. There's this small, I don't know if I should call it a river or a lake that is, let's say about 20 minutes walk away from my house. And it was a place that kids weren't allowed to go, but we would always escape from the market to go there and just get out of the market.
Yeah. So how were you in high school? Were you the, brilliant students, front row, hi, I want to answer every question?
Yeah.
Or were you more the laid back, back seat type of student?
Well, first of all, my high school was not linear like everybody's. Yeah. And as you can tell, I'm very loud, so I was obviously very social. And what I mean by my high school was not linear is I went to a normal traditional Ghanaian high school, and in Ghana we go to public schools, like boarded public schools for high school. And I got into my first choice high school, and when in my second year I had to leave for an exchange program in the United States. Ooh. So I did 1 year of a different high school in the US. And when I came back, I went back to high school again to do another 1 year in Ghana. So it was such a not straight journey. But during my first 2 years before I left on exchange, I was very loud. Like every single staff knew me. I was a class rep. I was in like almost every club that is in school. I was a science student, so that meant that you can't do any other extracurricular. It's a very strict course. But I was still involved in like 100 other things and running up and down administration block. So I was kind of popular in school, but also like smart because I was in the science department. But when I left for 1 year and I came back, there was a lot of pressure from the people that knew me, especially like the academics, the chief academics in the school and some of the staff. And my colleagues had graduated, so I joined my juniors, and I didn't know anybody. Nobody knew me. One day when I returned and I went to join them, I'm in class, and the chief academics comes to class to introduce me to my new classmates, and he's like, "Oh, she was one of the smartest people in her class," and I wasn't. I was like, "What are you saying?"
So the pressure.
Exactly. And because when I came back, I spoke really differently. Like my accent, my American accent was heavy. And I guess people just didn't like me because of that.
Wow.
So I didn't have friends. I ended up making a few friends, but they were just nerds, and that was my group of very few friends. And I think it also helped me a lot because they didn't have time for chit chat. They didn't have time for gossip. It was class to the lab to learn and to press and just that. And that was my routine when I came back.
What was your first ever job, like paying job?
Ooh, interesting. I always had an entrepreneurial mindset. Even when I was like 8 years old, I started selling. Like I always liked to sell. But my mom,
lived in the market, so
exactly. So it just And my mom didn't like that because she always thought about what are people gonna say, like you don't have money to take care of your kids, that's why they're out there carrying stuff. But I just enjoyed it. And it helped that one of my uncles, he was a truck driver, and he drives to this place in Burkina Faso that trading happens a lot. So sometimes he brings back like bags of oranges or carrots, and he would bring me some to like bring some in the house for us to eat. And I would carry them outside and sell. So it was something I did a lot, and I often made quite some money from that. So when I got to junior high school, I had to stop and focus on my BEC exam. And my actual first paid job was after high school. I had 2 months before I'd come to AOU, and I got a job as what was I even doing? I was just a manager in this hair salon that they sold wigs. So they don't actually wash hair, braid hair, but they sold like very expensive wigs. Like it was one of the big hair places in Ghana.
Yes, an unlikely event that shaped you, if you have any.
Tough question.
Deep question.
An unlikely event. What would you consider an unlikely event?
So an unlikely event could be something you've witnessed, or something you watched, or like a book, or like something that happened to you or someone close to you, that kind of thing.
This is really deep, but I'm gonna share either way. So my community is war torn. There's been an unending conflict for the past 150 years, and it's still going on right now. So growing up, it would often like not resolve, but just go quiet for a while, and there's a little bit of peace, and then after a short while, it starts again.
Wow.
And most of my colleagues right now do not have like male father figures in the house because they were all killed in like the past years.
Wow.
In 2010 or 9-ish, yeah, 2010, around that time, it started, and it was very heated at the time, and it was bad. You know how they talk about the genocide here?
Yeah.
It was a very similar thing, and you
Wow.
could literally walk over dead bodies on the ground.
Wow.
Yeah. So we had to like get locked inside our houses. The soldiers came, the government brought soldiers all the way from the south,
Yeah.
and we were locked inside our houses for at least 1 month. You cannot go out. Yeah. So it was a very tough time, and just seeing that moment and seeing all of that was just a thing where you get to actually appreciate that I still have both of my parents alive, and seeing that I could have died even in that moment. And it's just a thing to appreciate life each day, because I might not have been here today.
Yeah.
So it's
Wow.
it's a long thing.
Wow.
But
Okay, so let's talk about sustainable fashion.
yes.
Let's, because from what I'm seeing, it's not really a popular thing in our parts. It is kind of gaining popularity in like the Western world, the US, the UK. People want to shop sustainably and all that. But here it's still more of the if I have money, I'm going to buy it. If I don't care what source it came from, and So let's talk about sustainable fashion. What exactly is it, first off? And how did you develop interest in it?
Sure. So sustainable fashion is just being conscious of the clothing or the fabric that we put on ourselves, and the use of fabric in general. Every day, tons and tons and tons of fabric waste, or like just clothes, end up in landfills, and these things go into lands, and that part of the land cannot be used anymore for anything. And we all know, like the Western countries, especially the US, this is where they dump their clothes.
Yes.
And at the end of the day, even when they bring some for people to sell here, they're usually not even things that you can resell. They're completely ruined. And what I'm looking into is making sure that we reduce the amounts that end up in landfills. So through recycling, through reusing some of them, the ones that can be used, and repurposing as well, and rental as well. So about this has been something that I wanted to start something to actually work on, not just have an idea. And sometime last year, ALU had this circular economy competition where they give you a topic and you come up with a solution around that to solve the problem. And my team entered, myself and one other girl who's very passionate about it. We worked on a web app that would promote the use of resale of pre-loved items. So most of us also have clothes that are in our closets that we no longer wear.
Yes, I do.
Exactly. So we wanted to not just let them sit back there or end up in like trash can. So people that have that can resell them on our platform, and maybe they're not even spoiled, they're just things you no longer find your style. So you're able to sell, and someone else interested can buy. So we also explored repurposing completely worn out or torn stuff into other things like flower vases, or even like some decorative art forms. And
interesting. Nice. Okay, so what would you say is like your proudest career achievement so far?
I do have a lot of proud moments.
Wow.
Yes.
Want to be like you?
I do have a lot of proud moments, and in the different fields that I'm interested in, there's been like a highlight in each of them.
Okay. So give us highlights for each of the areas that you're in.
Okay. So in my corporate career, as an aspiring product manager and just communication specialist, and also mostly I work in development as well. I just finished my last internship in development in April, and one of my proudest career moments in that would be just being able to network with people that gave me big opportunities. Like I got an opportunity to travel to Switzerland, which people assume that I was part of a program. Yeah, but it wasn't. It was
Yeah.
just the effect of being able to network properly.
Yeah.
So that was one of like the big moments for me. And when it comes to my social works and diplomacy and policy and all of that, I got an opportunity again to speak at this African Philanthropy Forum to give a speech about the Africa that I wish to see as a young African girl child, and my wishes for the young girl African children that exist there. It was a big event. It cost like $2,000 plus to just attend, and it convened all of the millionaires and billionaires in the continent and outside the continent that are philanthropists. And it was like something that had like Paul Kagame, his wife, Gressa Michelle, Titi Masiwa, you know, Strive Masiwa's wife. And I was speaking in front of these people. And after the event, it was so wonderful that like Gressa Michelle came up and hugged me and talked and was like, this is an advice from a grandma to a grandkid. And it was such a moment that I never thought would happen.
Wow.
Or I would ever meet any of these people. And that day was one of the most happiest days of my life.
Wow,
Yeah. And the last part, which is my work in sustainable fashion and the circular economy space. Yeah, winning that circular economy competition was huge. It was.
Your team won.
Yeah.
Oh, nice! Congratulations.
Yeah, thank you. Yeah, it was huge, and I like winning, so it was just a proud moment that I actually competed in a hackathon. We had 2 days to work on a solution, and we came up with something that actually appealed to the judges and we won.
Amazing. Yeah. So in talking about your achievements, you've talked a lot about networking and stuff. Could you give us networking tips? Because some of us we are struggling. Yeah, are struggling. So.
And the first and the best one I would say is that even though we all have so many interests, right?
Yes.
Like for me, instance, I'm interested in product management, I'm interested in communications, I'm interested in like so many other things. When you meet someone and you let them talk first, and whatever they are, you look at how it will benefit one of those interests. So be that interest at that moment. So if I meet like Maurice, for instance, and he's a software engineer, at that point I'm going to be a product manager because that's what connects the most. If I meet someone who is like an ambassador, at that point I'm going to talk about my interest in diplomacy and the work I've done there. So don't just talk about, oh, I've done this, and talk about your achievements in all of your interests. They don't care. Like you have to be what will connect to them, and they can potentially help you in that space the most. I realized that very late, and it has cost me a few things.
I'm just realizing that now, so thank you.
Yeah, but it's really important that you be that person that they would be interested in listening to at that moment. The second thing is to connect with them in any way you can, like in any platform or like in any how you can. Online, like reach out first after you leave there. Like don't just connect with them and be like, oh, they're gonna remember me. When you leave there, reach out to them. Like reach out and be like, hey, it was nice meeting you at this place today. I enjoyed what you said about this, and that. And I'd like to keep in touch or keep contact. And
that's something I would never have learned if this conversation did not happen. So thank you. Thank you very much for that. So let's talk about values and priorities. What are your top values and priorities in life, generally, not just professionally?
General priorities. I am pretty religious. Sometimes I don't look or act it, but I'm very religious, and I believe a lot in the faith that I worship. I am Muslim. So when it comes to general priorities, I put that first because the values that I have next are being influenced by that. All right. Yes. My biggest fear at the moment. Not really a fear, but something that would really shake me a little bit. Yeah, like a concern would be not achieving what I set for myself. Like I'm very used to going after what I want. So like if I'm gonna talk to the president of this country, I'm gonna go to Ireland to meet him and talk to him. So when that doesn't happen within the timeline that I set for it, it's a concern.
What would you say is the best part of being your age?
Well, I'm 22.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
And the best part is being able to make mistakes. Like right now, I don't have a family, I'm not married, I don't have like strict responsibilities of taking care of someone else or not having, like I have the luxury to make mistakes.
Yeah, be flexible.
Yeah, I have the luxury to change my path, to move from here to there. Or to even move around and just explore what I like and what I don't like. And I think that's the best part of being young.
What are your thoughts on popularity? Like, would you like to be like mainstream famous someday?
I don't know, but I don't think so.
Why?
It's really limited. If you're
You
very,
think so?
it comes with its like privileges, but it's very limited. Well, it depends on how popular you get.
Okay.
Like the influencers kind of popular.
Yeah.
That's fine with me.
Okay.
You're just known online by 100,000 people. That's fine.
Yeah.
But if it's like famous like celebrity, musician, actor kind of famous,
Yeah.
I don't think I'm really interested.
Okay, so is there anything you're working on now? Would you care to let us in?
Right now, I'm resting.
I want to be like you. You are. Your people have time for rest. Interesting.
Well, yeah.
Did you create the time or?
I did not. I guess the universe just thought you were so tired, you need to rest. Because I was working on so many things during the semester, and it just happened that I wrapped everything up by 30th April.
Almost the same thing.
Yeah.
Nice.
So now I'm just resting as I wait to begin my summer internship.
I want to be like you. What's a fun fact about you that would, kind of surprise people to learn or to know?
That I'm actually shy. Yeah. You know the saying, fake it till you make it?
Also, you've been faking it.
Not entirely, but sometimes. I'm social, yes, but I'm also shy.
I always saw you as the, not shy person.
Yeah.
That's interesting to find out.
So I and a lot of things just make me awkward. Like, and I cannot, like, I just become. It just gets weird. And it's just like.
So for you shy people, there is hope.
There is hope.
There is hope. You can do it. Fake it.
Fake it till you make it.
Okay, and with that, we've come to the end of another brilliant episode of Nke. Thank you so much for staying with me.
Yep.
And thank you so much for, your time. We have been on this since like 2-3 months ago.
It's finally here.
Finally, we've done it. So thank you so much for coming on again.
Yeah.
And I'm going to drop. Please connect with her on LinkedIn, Instagram. I'm going to drop like a link.
I'm very active on
socials.
LinkedIn.
Yes.
So follow, and don't forget to follow Nke, subscribe, share, and
subscribe, share.
Invite all your friends to listen.
Subscribe. Thank you. Bye.
Bye.